Hey there, it's Chris with Acting Creative, and this is a handwoven experience. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about organizing your weaving yarn. Now, like most things in weaving, there isn't just one way to do that, which is the whole point of today's episode. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can organize your stash, and then it's up to you to think through what do I want to make and how do I work as a weaver and organize accordingly. So let's kick things off by organizing by exact kind of yarn. Here's what I mean. As a weaver, I use a ton of 8/4 cotton. I love it. So many of my warps are 8/4 cotton. As a matter of fact, whenever I do any kind of towel, 8/4 is almost always my go-to. I like to use it for the warp and the weft, the whole kit and caboodle. So it is worth it for me then to have an area that is just 8/4 cotton. So this is my 8/4 cotton shelf. I've got on my little kind of smaller ones here, bigger tubes here. I know that I can go to this shelf and grab any color I like, and it is all the same fiber, same size, same everything. Now, these days, I've been playing with a little more 8/2 as well. So the shelf above, all 8/2. So I like to have those two sections separated from the rest because I know those are fibers that I'm going to use very, very often. And I don't want to worry about hunting and pecking to find exactly that size and that fiber. So that is your first option, is to organize by that exact kind of yarn. Let's talk about another option for us. Another option for organizing your weaving yarns is to do it by color. You see on my shelf, I've got a green shelf right here. I've got kind of reds, oranges, yellows, blues. And I find this to be really helpful when you're working on a project where the fibers don't matter, that it's really all about the colors. And you may be thinking, what kind of projects does that include where the fibers don't matter? Well, if you are creating something, I'll show my little example here, where it is just kind of a mishmash of all kinds of different fibers. This is going to be handbags. So it's not as critical. It's not going to go through the washer and dryer. It's just kind of this lovely color wash of all these different yarns together. So when I'm working on a project like this, where the actual fiber content is less important than the colors and the textures, I love having my shelves organized in this fashion because I know that as I'm creating the fabric, I can look up and be like, you know what? I really need a kind of bright apple green, and I can go to my shelf right here and I can pull off the exact color and texture that I'm looking for. Well, maybe not exact, but I get close. So this form of organizing by color like this is so fun if you are doing fabric where you're not going to worry about putting it through the washer and dryer because it's a whole mishmash of different kinds of fibers and textures. But it's going to be used for a purpose that it's all about the color. You're really focusing on color and texture in this setting. And I love playing with that. So this becomes really helpful for me for that type of project. Let's talk about one more kind of organizing. And my last suggestion for you in terms of organizing your weaving yarn is to think about quantity. Do you have a bin where all your little bits go? I find this is very helpful if I just need a little punch of something and I don't need a lot of yardage, and I know I can come to my fun little bin of leftovers and I can find just something special to add into my fabric. So this becomes very helpful when I just need a little bit, a little touch, like seasoning. But I also have some of my really big cones up here so that I know that if I need a solid color for a long warp, that I can come over the shelf and I can pull off one that I know for sure I got plenty. So that becomes really handy. And as a little extra, I also have a couple little tubs of this kind of format, like in a skeins and balls, because also to our point about yardage, there's just not as much on here. And that is kind of my cue. If I need a little touch of something for a project, I know that per how I have it organized, I'm going to find the appropriate length in those parts of my shelves. So friends, I've given you 3 different ideas on how to organize your weaving yarn. The first one is to do it by the exact kind of yarn. That was my 8/4 example, where I have a whole shelf of 8/4 because I know that I like to go grab that one single kind of fiber in the same size in different colors. I love that option. The second was to do it by color, because there are times there'll be projects when it's all about the colors and the textures, and the fiber is less important. So I love having that visual of all the colors right there. Plus, I think the shells look really pretty like that. And the third way to organize is to do it kind of by size. Do you have just a small amount left of certain cones or tubes here, or do you have a lot, so that you know just by going to those shelves that you'll have the appropriate length for what you need in your project? So tell me, how do you like to organize your weaving stash? And did you have any ideas that came up today and you thought, maybe in the future? And for my sweet beginners that are like, Chris, I have 5 cones, period. Don't you worry. Your stash will grow in no time, I promise. And then you'll have challenges like, how do I organize this? It'll be fun. All right, friends, have a wonderful week and happy weaving.